I've just arrived in Ravensworth. We're going to look at the castle and the houses around the Buttercross for the talk I'm doing on wartime locations in the area. So Ravensworth Castle was empty by the time the war started, but it had only been partially demolished. So it was an empty building which was ideal for billeting of troops. So troops were billeted here during the war. This is the one surviving corner of the house designed by John Nash. I say house, it was always called Ravensworth Castle, but it was never a castle. It was just a stately home. This is all that's left of the actual John Nash house itself. But it would have covered this whole area along here. It would have been a huge house. So therefore suitable for lots of soldiers to be billeted here, as indeed they were during the Second World War. So in the late 1930s the decision was taken to demolish the John Nash house and use the stone and timber for building a model estate next to the Buttercross. And when the work started, they managed to build three houses, and they'd partially demolished the castle at that point. And then the war came along, and all house building projects stopped. I rather like the spiral staircase that ends in nowhere up at the top. That is one of the two medieval corner towers, joined up to the curtain wall there, and then behind it the stable block and the clock tower. And the plan was always to retain the clock tower when the model village was built, and it still stands. Obviously propped up by scaffolding, but it's still there. And then round to the other medieval corner tower. So there would have been 4 medieval corner towers, and 2 of them were demolished to make way for the Georgian house, which is right where I'm standing now. Not a brick left of it, unless it's underground. And that was demolished to make way for the John Nash house. So even though the castle was lined up for demolition, even though nobody had been living there for a few years, even though it was partly demolished in 1939, it still had its use during the Second World War. This sort of big empty space that would be so useful for billeting of troops. So this is one of the sites that certainly has a link to the Second World War. We are next to the Buttercross now, so 3 houses here built from the stone and timbers of the castle. So that's one. These were built in the 1930s. You can see the Buttercross there. To the right of it is the second of the 3 houses, and the third one is there, and this is where the 4th one would have gone. As you can see, it's just a field now.